Nope. He sold in my tuxedo. Everybody has half of a sparkling jacket on. Well, every once in a while, you got to not wear one. So when you wear one, people appreciate it more. So thank you for everybody that's here. This is our second time we've done the Evening of Honors. I think it's a great idea. Gives us an opportunity as your National Grange directors to brag about what all y'all are doing. And hopefully you as state presidents will take this back to your states and brag on your people. That's how we motivate our members to do what they do. Other than that, they do it just because they're Grangers. And it's a wonderful thing. So as people wander in, I want to thank the youth team ambassadors to help hand out programs, direct people. It's greatly appreciated to help. And I also believe in starting on time, so we're going to introduce Samantha Wilkins, who's going to give out your Junior Grange Awards.
You look gorgeous.
Good evening. I am excited to tell you guys all about the amazing juniors that we have had this year and some of the contest winners that we have for the year. Today I'm going to announce the Best of Show winners. All of the winners for the junior contest are in your program. So first I want to honor Miss Kimber Newman from Kansas as the Best of Show winner in our digital talent, creative art, creative writing, and photography contests. Next, I'd like to recognize Jalen Johnson from Washington as the Best of Show winner for our handicraft contest. I'd like to take a moment to also thank all of the states who submitted their state leaders report. We have Massachusetts State Grange, Junior Grange, Montana State Junior Grange, New Hampshire State Junior Grange, Oregon State Junior Grange, and Pennsylvania State Junior Grange. I will like to say that I would like to see a lot more of these, though, next year, because I know there are plenty of states that are doing great things, and I want to know about it. I'd also like to recognize our state, some of our leaders who sent in reports, and that would be for East Pembroke Junior Grange in New York, Whitetail Junior Grange in New York as well. So thank you to those. All right. This morning, we had our public speaking contest for the Junior Grangers, and we had two contestants, one representing the state of Idaho and one representing the state of Rhode Island. Our second place winner for the public speaking contest was Miss Patricia Foster from Idaho. And she can come down here. She can come down to the front and receive her ribbon if she's in here. Next, our Best of Show winner, who will be presenting their presentation today, will be Miss Nettie Hartley as our Best of Show winner from Rhode Island. So Miss Nettie, you can come up here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nettie Hartley. I'm 14 years old and go to Moosup Valley Junior Grange number 27 in Foster, Rhode Island. Over the summer, I had the honor and privilege to be asked to go to Times Square in New York City to represent the Junior Grange on the kids' TV show Wonderama. For being my first trip to the big city, I don't think I would have wanted to go for any other reason. Knowing that a junior from the smallest state in the nation was able to help the National Grange staff with representing the Grange on an international level, that alone made my experience of doing something completely outside my comfort zone more meaningful to me. The first thing I saw once we got there, of all things, was the naked cowboy himself, which is definitely not a sight you would see in the Little Roadie. After we checked in, we helped out the staff with their final setup of our display and game boards. After talking about some bucket list items, it was decided that Samantha Wilkins, my dad, and I would get up bright and early Wednesday morning and walk over to the outside set of the Today Show. Miss Samantha brought the junior logo red sneaker costume that I wore, and my dad held up a big sign that we made before we left. And we actually got to meet the host Hoda when she came out to broadcast live. What a cool experience that truly was. Thursday was my big day, my interview with the host, David Osmond. Samantha, the National Junior Director, asked me to do an interview for Wonderama based on all my community service hours I did, which led me to winning the Cape of Honor Award last national session. Once I was introduced to the production staff, I got a VIP special guest pass, and let me tell you, they truly made me feel like a VIP. We had to go to the green room early in the morning to meet the show's executive producers and to sit in the makeup chair. When we finished up there, we went back to Times Square to the filming set. I was able to do my interview all in one take to then go do more side interviews for the different social media platforms. I would have to say my favorite part of the whole day was knowing that I was representing and bringing more light to the Grange on a global level, as I had an international interview later on for a press release. It was expected for about 25,000 people to walk by our Grange tent every day. But if I were to take a guess, I would say we saw at least double that daily. Because we were there for 4 days, not only did about 200,000 people pass by or stop at our Grange tent alone, but then with the interviews Bryce and I did that were both broadcasted globally, which means that a potential of millions of people learned about the Grange that weekend. Now that was the best part. Our days were filled with lots of laughter, joy, and busy work with a great group of Grangers who got to meet people from all across the world, including some from Germany, Russia, Egypt, and Italy. We met the local New Yorkers who had much to say about the city, but great interactions with hundreds of people a day. Going to New York City was definitely a big event for my junior Grange journey that I know I will truly because without them and the Grange itself, I know I would not be doing a TV interview that will be broadcasted across the whole world. Although my interview episode hasn't been aired yet, I was able to watch Bryce's, and I'm sure he was just as excited watching himself as I know I will be. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to have her stay right here because this is the Nettie hour. This year, Nettie has done some absolutely amazing things. And so I also wanted to present her while she was up here. We had her up here. This year's 2022 National Junior Grange Cape of Honor Award, meaning she has been selected as the Junior Granger of the Year by completing over 300 hours of community service. She's awesome. All right, at this time, I would like to invite for the last time my National Junior Grange Ambassador Class of 2022. Riley and Cade from North Carolina have been absolutely an amazing part of the Junior Grange team, and they have a couple of final remarks for you guys this evening.
Like I said earlier this morning, this year was the best year of my life. I would like to thank the North Carolina Grange and Mr. Jimmy for supporting me this year and letting me go to all these wonderful states and meeting all these new people. The Grange the Grange Foundation for also supporting me and Cade as we traveled this year. My family for having to put up with me not being home, and my local Grange, St. John's Grange, for all the prayers and love they have given me since I've been in the Grange, and especially this year. And lastly, Samantha for having to put up with me, because for my mom, it's a full-time job for her. And without any of you, I would not be here today, so thank you.
I almost don't know how to feel about this. I'm obviously sad because I don't get any more Sam time. She's been a massive help to me this year. She's been guiding me when I didn't know what to do, and that was often. And I'd also like to give a massive thanks to the North Carolina Grange and the Grange Foundation. They've supported me so much, and I am really, really grateful. I'm also really excited to see what the next ambassadors will do, in which I advise them to not worry too much, and I wish that they had just as much fun as I had. Thank you.
Sure, I'm going to miss them, but we have some amazing candidates for the next year. So I'd like to start reading the biography for our 2023 National Junior Grange Ambassador candidate. Nettie Hartley, 14-year-old daughter of Walter and Danielle Hartley of Rhode Island, currently serves as the Moosup Valley Junior Grange president and is a third-generation Grange member. Nettie has been attending Junior Grange meetings since before she was able to join the Junior Grange and has dedicated much time to the Grange along with her family. Nettie has held many offices within her Junior Grange, volunteers her time at many different events such as the Rhode Island State Grange Corn Dog Booth, and is always willing to take on any tasks for the betterment of the organization. When Nettie was elected as the president of her Junior Grange, she had the honor of being installed by her father, Walter Hartley, and was excited to hold that position just as he did just a few years earlier. Nettie has taken on so many roles in her Junior Grange career, such as in 2016, Nettie was named the Rhode Island Junior Grange Mini Princess, and in 2021 was awarded the National Junior Granger of the Year Award for her excellent work in serving her community. And in 2021, she also received the National Grange Cultivator of the Year Award for her participation in the Northeast Region's Membership Committee. And in 2022, she was named the Rhode Island Junior Grange Princess. Nettie's accomplishments have also been recognized by her school when she was awarded the Mount St. Charles Book Award for her school spirit, leadership, kindness, and academics. Alongside with these great accomplishments, Nettie is also serving on the 2023 National Grange Host Committee. She has written several published pieces for Good Day magazine and has also had some pieces published in the Patrons chain. Nettie also made her national television debut when she was helping the National Grange spotlight the amazing Junior Grangers on the TV show Wonderama earlier this year in Times Square. In Nettie's free time, which I don't know how she has, she stays busy working for her community where she volunteers for a local daycare, her church, and many other school projects and clubs. This year alone, she was able to help raise over $5,000 to help a family in need whose daughter was diagnosed with acute B-cell lymphoblastic leukemia. Whew, Nettie says that if she was selected as National Junior Grange Ambassador, she would be excited to represent the National Grange in a positive and influential way. She wants to inspire other Junior Grangers to take part in the opportunities the Junior Grange has to offer and to showcase non-members about these opportunities and encourage them to be a part of the Grange. She is excited about the possibilities of being able to implement new ideas for members across the country and to utilize them. And she believes that with everything she has already done through the Grange, that she can use those experiences to cultivate new ideas for the future generations. Nettie, we believe that you have absolutely showed yourself in an amazing way, and we are so excited to announce that you are going to be the 2023 National Junior Grange Ambassador.
Wow, what a surprise that was. This week has been very exciting, being able to watch all of the very different things here, being able to participate in many of the different things. But I know I will not be able to be here to be able to run for ambassador without my parents, my state Grange, my state junior director, and all of us people from Rhode Island, because without them, I know this wouldn't be possible. They've helped me get to where I am now, where now I was able to just win a very big national title that I know Rhode Island will be very excited that we have a representative from our state. So I'd like to thank my family and everybody this week for all the best wishes. Without you, I don't think this would have been possible. So thank you.
Thank you guys so much for supporting the National Junior Grange program, and I am looking forward to the amazing things that Nettie is going to do for the Junior Grange program across the country. So she will start filling her calendar. So if you are interested in hosting Nettie, please get a hold of me, and we look forward to an exciting next year. Thank you.
Y'all is awful quiet out here. You concern me when you're quiet greatly. Now, I tried to drag Melissa the cow down here, but they didn't see the humor in that I did, so. Betsy's available for all pictures. She can't wait. She has not had her picture taken enough this week, so she has a certain quota she likes to fill, and she hasn't quite reached it yet. So next up will be our Lecturers Department Awards presented by your National Grain Lecturer, Ann Bircher.
Good evening. So this has been quite a year for me too. A little bit of a learning curve. I didn't get the memo about the gorgeous gowns, so I do have something different to wear tomorrow night, but at least I sparkle on top, so. Anyway, I'm here to tell you a little bit about the photography contest award winners. And those photos, winning photos have all been already posted on our social media. And we had over 200 entries in that contest, which is pretty exciting. And I have created the top 3 winners in each of the categories have been composed into greeting cards. So a package of 12 greeting cards. Limited edition, I only made 100 packages. But all of the awards, the ribbons are up in the showcase in Nugget 2, one of the Nugget rooms. And so you can go over there and pick up your ribbons, and I have a package of the 12 cards for each winner as well. And those you can take with you, or I can send them back with your presidents. And if the presidents take these, make sure you get them to our award winners. And if not, and maybe you should let me know if you got them or not, so I can make sure I can keep track of them for you. And I'm going to be doing a similar thing next year, and I really hope to get more entries. It's pretty exciting. The level of quality of the photography is truly amazing, and so I hope to get more entries next year because they're really fun to publish and to see. The quilt blocks also have been judged. I got over 150 judged and non-judged blocks. Those are also up in the showcase room. I don't believe those have been issued out on social media yet, so I want to let you know who the winners of the quilt block contest are. In Group 1, which is the open group of age 14 and older, first place went to Alice Hartman of Pennsylvania. Second place went to Joyce Martin of New Hampshire. Third place to Judy Huey of Oregon. And an honorable mention for Mary Sterling, also of Oregon. Group 2 was our juniors. This was pretty exciting, I thought. First place went to Grace Jaguar of Massachusetts. Second place to Kimber Newman of Kansas. She can add another artistic talent. Third place to Lillian Jaguar of Massachusetts. Third place to Xander Jaguar, also of Massachusetts. Group 3 was a men's category. First place went to Roger Bostwick of Kansas. Second place to Cade Howerton of North Carolina. Third place, Bob Schiff of Kansas. And an honorable mention to Ethan Edwards of Illinois. Now, next year, the quilt block contest is just going to be the open group ages 14 and up, and the juniors group, because men, step it up. You are part of the open group ages 14 and up. But I also wanted to comment that I got at least a dozen quilt blocks from Pennsylvania juniors that did a whole project during their camp. Those also have been put up in display. They asked to not have them judged, but I did take all of the quilt blocks, organize them by region, put them in kind of a quilt kit that can be purchased, and then you take them back to your region and do whatever you want with them. We did the same thing with those junior blocks from Pennsylvania. And so I think that's pretty exciting. So that's also perhaps an option for you next year if you want to send in a group of blocks together and with the intention of keeping them together. I think that's a great option. So anyway, come and get your ribbons. Let me know when you get them, and if you don't, I will have them and get them shipped off to you. So thank you and have a great rest of your evening.
Is anybody awake? I mean, I'm standing backstage. I ain't hearing nothing. Y'all you gotta. Oh no, applaud and yell and scream and jump up and down, please. That's even more enjoyable. So this year, as you're aware, we had a new communications director for the National Grange. Now, Phil has done an absolutely amazing job. He stepped in and never slowed down. You've seen the fellows working here who've done yeoman's work. And just remember one thing, when Phil started his job, he had a full head of hair. So, my pleasure to introduce Phil Veneta, your communications director for the National Grange.
I got a lot to get through, so get comfortable. No, that's not true. This has been a great year as your communications director. For those of you who heard my report on the session floor, I'm just going to restate a little bit of it and say, I want to see more. Anything you're doing is totally able to be submitted to our publicity contest. Every social media post, every time your name appears in the news, every time that you are creating something that is getting your Grange's name or an event that your Grange is doing, anytime that it's out in the public, you are helping to spread the Grange message, and that can all be put into our publicity contest. We had just over 100 entries this year, and I know that I saw 100 Facebook posts today. So please send them in, create some more competition for all of us. I want to thank, to start, our fellows for the year. So if you want to come forward whenever I call your name, we have Carolyn Chamley from here in Nevada. Please come down and see Betsy and JC, who has your certificates. Jim Dumont from Oregon, who's banning the camera, so he might not come down. Beth Southworth from Pennsylvania. And Lindsay Schrader, who returned for her 6th year as a fellow because she's a glutton for punishment. We were also joined for the first half of the week by Karin Herman from Idaho, who had to leave due to illness. But Karin, I hope you're watching at home. There's the camera. She was a wonderful asset to this program, and I'm really looking forward to working with her and helping to continue the growth that's happening in Idaho. We also have some other people who helped the program this year who I couldn't have done the program without. We started with some pre-Zoom meetings. We did some things here with some drop-ins. So not here, that I want to thank our Carrie Blassingame from Illinois and Elizabeth Heiner from Colorado and Hawaii, because they were absolutely wonderful assets for our program. But then also, thank you for your time to, and these people have certificates too, so please come down. Roger Bostwick. Now he's paying attention. Amanda Berzana Rios, who's backstage. Burton Eller. Chris and Dwayne Hamp. Chris Heath, Pete Pomper, who's also backstage, Leroy Watson, and Betsy Huber. So please give all of them a round of applause. Each of them took their time out of their schedules to meet with our fellows, talk some more about the Grange, give some real deep insight about what the Grange's mission is here in the 21st century. And having 3 fellows who have never been to a National Grange session before, who have all been members for less than 2.5 years, or just over for Carolyn, is so wonderful that we're able to be bringing new blood into our order. And then finally, I also want to thank the Grange Foundation. So Joan, if you want to come down on behalf of the foundation, I can accept your certificate. And Grange Advocacy as well for their sponsorship and what they give to our program. So thank you to both of them. And finally, also just some quick thanks for the people who helped us deliver papers this week, because we're a tired bunch. So especially last night, it was nice to have people drop in. So thank you to the current National Grange Youth Team, to Rob Beeman for his support, JC Jetty, Justin Knight, Travis Knight, and Bryce Danko. Thank you all for stepping in and helping. Okay, so this year, the publicity contest moved to the communications department. So it's my pleasure to announce that first place in our in-house category went to Mary's River Grange, number 685 in Oregon. They have checks. They have the checks. Yes. So if somebody's from Mary's River here, if not, Jay, do you want to accept on their behalf? Oh, wait, he's moving, there he is. And then second and third place in the in-house went to Jefferson Grange, number 1384 in Pennsylvania. Beth, that's you. Beth, where'd you go? Beth? Beth? There she is. And then while Beth's on her move, first, second, and third place in the professional category also went to Jefferson Grange, number 1384 in Pennsylvania. And the professional being Amanda. So some of the things that we saw coming out of Jefferson Grange for their publicity contest, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the TVs working in the showcase, so I'll be putting them out on social media later as a rolling slideshow. But they designed aprons and pot holders and these lovely cups, one of which I'm drinking out of backstage, that are all pretty awesome ways of just sharing their Grange message. We need to start thinking outside of the box in the way that we're looking at our branding and the way that we're looking at sharing our Grange mission. Nothing is too crazy. Nothing is too wild. Whatever ideas you have are absolutely valid. And then finally this year, I wanted to start a new award to recognize the people who are going above and beyond in sharing the message of the Grange. These are people who I saw constantly on Facebook, jumping on our Zooms, taking part in newsletters, or just sharing the word and getting it out as much as possible. Even if they weren't personally able to attend, they were sharing. They were putting it on social media sites for other Granges to say, this isn't my Grange, but you should go. So I want to start with two people who aren't here tonight, and one of those is Molly Newman from Kansas, and the other is Lois Allen from Vermont. So give them both a round of applause. And the three Grange connectors that are here, I want to start with one who might not be who you think of, somebody who you would envision using social media constantly to share the message, and that is Sharon Croucher from New York. Sharon, many of you know her. I see her active on Facebook all the time. She's always liking our posts, sharing them. I see her sharing our Grange heirloom posts constantly. She is very active in ensuring that people are getting to her Grange meetings, getting to other Grange meetings, and just really loving the things that we do as an organization. So Sharon, it is well deserved. And all of them are getting a really cool metal plaque. There's no money involved, but there is a really cool plaque. So if you want to enter next year, maybe there will be money, who knows? Our second connector also does really well on social media, but also came to me thinking outside the box saying, I need help. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get the message out. So this person is Trisha Eidsmo from Michigan. Trisha is one of my favorite out-of-the-box thinkers. She's asking questions all the time. Can I do this? How do I do this? What can I do to make this better? Please help us. We want to do more. And Trisha is the epitome of a Granger who's looking to share her love with other people. And then, while they're getting the picture taken, our final awardee tonight does a wonderful newsletter every month that I get to look at. E-blasts, always on Facebook, always using social media to their advantage. And this one goes to the entirety of the Illinois State Grange. And that's primarily Lynette and Carrie Blassingame, who I mentioned earlier. They are constantly getting the word out. So I encourage you to go out, try to do more, see what more you can do. If you want to try something new, ask me. I'm here to help. So thank you all, and keep being Grange connectors.
Now they gotta consult with each other and make sure the picture looks right. I like it. What's up, Betsy? You know you give me a mic, it's all over with. I know you rue those days. So, another note, if anyone who was here who was part of the 1 in 1,000 club, if you could stand up, please. 1 in 1,000 club.
1 in 1,000?
Or come on stage.
1 in 1,000?
A little closer.
Sorry, the coat had a couple.
Perfect. The 1 in 1,000 club was the idea of Marty Bilquist, where, Grangers for $1,000 can be part of this club, and it's a limited membership. They're only going to take so money. And thanks to Marty's intuition and knowing what to do, that's the money that the National Grange is using to help maintain, take care of our historic records. So if you are interested in that, I'm sure Sister Betsy would be more than glad, Marty would be more than glad to take your money. And it's all run through the foundation, so we know Joan C. would be more than glad to take your money. Or Amanda. We're not a proud people. We'll take your money. But again, thank you for standing. Thank you for being part of that. And think about it. It is a good, you get a nice little pin too, a pretty cool pin. So thank you for that. So now I'm going to invite Loretta Washington to the stage. She's got so many titles I forget, and I'm going to mess them up. But basically, if you call the National Grange, she's a switchboard operator. The person who calls, we got issues. If you need something, you call Loretta. I call her several times a week just to check on her. She's coming. So we're going to get into your legacy families, distinguished Granges, and a dear friend, and I mean a dear friend of mine, Loretta Washington.
Thank you. The Grange legacy families. We have a lot of legacy families in our Grange. This year, we would like to recognize a 6th-generation family from Oregon, the Trump. Would they please come forward to receive their certificate? And we really want Mom up here because I've heard such great things about her. As the application was received, they said, are we going to be on the stage and make sure our Mom is there? Mom is here tonight, so we are very happy to have the family with us from Oregon.
Nothing to see here.
The next family that we like to recognize for 5 generations from the great state of Pennsylvania, the Campbell family. Would someone please come forward? And I can say this family, we see a lot of action with watching Wayne being former president of the state of Pennsylvania, but to also see the grandchildren now being a part of the organization. And since I mentioned that, there's my firefighter over there. And he did an outstanding job with One Narama, with his head and all. The next family we like to recognize come from the great state of California, the Driscoll, Foster, Barber, Tucker family. Yeah, are they here? Is the Pensing family here from Pennsylvania? The Schaefer family? The Vedder from Washington? Okay. Can I keep going? Okay, let's talk about this thing with.
It's your hour. You do what you want.
Don't forget.
Okay.
She forgot one.
Oh, the Clack of Oregon. Are they here? Oh, that's the little girl that I saw with the beautiful dress on. Okay, I think this is what we all been waiting for. This has become a very long-standing tradition in the National Grange, and that is the Distinguished Grange. This year, we like to recognize the great state of Oregon, and that other great state, or better known as a Commonwealth, Pennsylvania. I will say that those states work very hard to make sure they have filled out their applications and met all the requirements that is needed for that. And on that note, we are putting out a different type, something different with the Distinguished Grange for next year. Yesterday, you all heard Jeff Winton talk about rural minds, mental health. For each state that does the Distinguished Grange, if you do a state program on mental health, next year, a state Grange could be recognized as a golden state Grange. Likewise, for our subordinate Granges, if you do a program, you will be recognized as a golden distinguished Grange. For 10 years, doing this thing for 10 years, we would like to recognize Turkey Hill Grange, 1370 out of Illinois. Woo-hoo, that's right. Now, I'm going to have to control myself here because...
No, don't say it's so.
Yes, it is. It's so. Want to recognize the Grangers for 5 years and with their plaque. From the great state of California, Central Union Grange 559. We hope that they will continue to do outstanding work as they have done for the past 5 years. I will say that this Grange has been very helpful to me this past week. None other than Katie Squire from this Grange has been the driving force behind our showcase this week. So Katie, we appreciate everything you have done in our showcase, including getting Melissa the cow here. So Katie's been my right arm for everything. Now I really have to control myself. Let me hang on here. 5 years from the great state of Washington, Golden Dale Grange, 49. I got to meet this Grange about 5 years ago, and we got this thing going on. Every year we come to Grange, we take our picture together. It's like a class reunion. And they are doing great things out there in the great state of Washington. Coming from the great state of Oregon, none other than Mary's River Grange, 685. Okay. Other Granges that we would like to recognize for doing it for the very first time, we'd like to recognize Jefferson Grange, 1384, from the great state of Pennsylvania. Harvey.
Yep, Harvey's Aleppo.
Yeah, okay, from great state of Pennsylvania. Springwater Grange 263 from the great state of Oregon. Hurricane Grange 608 from the great state of Oregon. Ono Grange 445 from the great state of California. I need to hang on here now because I like this Grange. Eagle Grange, number 1 from the great state of Pennsylvania. Cresswell Grange 496 from the great state of Oregon. Prairie Grange 832, great state of Illinois. Stony Point Grange 1694, Pennsylvania. Lenore Grange 410 from Maryland. Bethlehem Grange 137, New York. St. John Grange, 729, North Carolina. Upton Grange, 125, Massachusetts. I need to hang on again.
You're talking faster than they're moving.
And usually it's the other way around. We're very proud of every Grange that do the Distinguished Grange, because it's really hard work to keep up with the records and the hours that you have and things of that nature. All right, from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, none other than Valley Grange, 1360. I really do need to hang on now because I'm getting to a state that I like.
That's good. You don't like them all, huh?
Oh, I have love for certain states because of things that I remember and the Grange people that I have met along the way. Out of the great state of North Carolina, Grantham Grange, 968.
Next is Gratiot Grange. Yes. What, no applause for getting that right?
From Michigan.
Very active Grange in Michigan.
Very active Grange in Michigan. Also out of the state of Michigan, Burn Grange, 160. Out of the great state of New York, Stanford Grange, 808. By the way, that Grange and the next two Granges names I'm going to call, they have been doing this for 13 years. That's a lot of time. Next Grange I'd like to recognize from the great state of Washington, 5 Mile Perry, 905. Okay, I'm gonna hang on because this one I know is gonna be loud. Gonna be really loud. We'll let Washington come and get that photo taken there. This Grange also been doing this for 13 years. Redland Grange, 796, Oregon. I'm starting to feel the love of Oregon here now, okay? And as Pete say, sometimes the room is a little quiet, but say the word Oregon. Grange in action. This is really my baby. And I will say Grange in action has grown and has grown by leaps and bounds. For all the Granges that did a Grange in action this past year and those that will do one next year, all you have to do is have 3 activities with at least 3 photos or 2 photos of that event. Now, one of the activities I hope everyone will do will be a meeting or event on rural mines or rural health. If you do, you will be known as a Golden Grange in action. I'm not going to read all the names, but I want you to know, for a state to become a Golden Grange in action, they must have 6 subordinate Granges. And I want to recognize these Granges, states, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Tom Gwynn, I love you to death. The great state of Washington. Tom sends in approximately, was 88, next year was 100. I think this year I got maybe about close to 150 from that one state. So all the states, I will say, some of you all are so close in becoming a golden state. Keep working and you will get there. I appreciate everything you all have done, will do in the future, and I have one last shout out. My last shout out goes to Miss Susie, who has helped me, Susie Ram, that has helped with the National Grange store this week. Thank you, Susie. And I'd like to thank every volunteer that has helped Susie or Katie with the showcase and the store this week. This region has been really, really fabulous, and thank you so much for your love and hospitality.
Thank you, Loretta. And I believe, she got out of here before I could talk, that we do have junior Granges in action also. So don't forget that. Here's that. I got a lot of pages here, and I'm trying to make sure we do it right. Next up, and everyone here should be proud of this. Next presenter, your next director, because of the fruits of her labor, and she'll
Good evening. That wasn't very loud. We're gonna have to do that again. Good evening. I love you guys. I'm already ready to come back for next year's convention, so if we could all just fly to New York, that would be great. This year has been amazing because I haven't had to do a lot of work to get a lot of results. You all have been doing all of the hard labor, and people have been hearing wonderful things about the Grange. Even Grange that doesn't exist nearby them. Today, I got to announce in session that we have a hot lead in Hawaii. We also have somebody living in Hawaii, so we actually have 2, but that is a state that we've never had a Grange in. Grange is becoming the buzz, and that is so exciting. I want to start by saying that we had about a 3.1% fraternal gain last year. Those to you guys. That tells us that, there are more people coming and looking for Grange, and now it's our job to make sure that they want to stay. And with the enthusiasm that's in this room tonight, and with the things that you can go back and talk about, activities, programs, contests, and projects that they can get involved in, there's no reason they should want to leave. So I am just overly impressed with the amount of stuff that we have been able to announce tonight. I'm excited to recognize some folks that we've been recognizing throughout the week. If you've been in session with us, you've seen these cute little pink banners that say a state honor Grange. Our honor Grange program means we recognize you if you have a net gain in members. And so we have California, who had one of the largest net gains, and I'm not going to read this giant list of other subordinate honor Granges because we would be here until morning, which is amazing. But 425 Granges had a net gain, and the highest one in the nation was in California, Pleasant Valley 675 with 129 new members. Connecticut opened a Grange, closed a Grange, and still came out with a net gain, and they have been doing awesome things and are about to reorganize another. Idaho. Small but mighty. Illinois. Indiana. There you go. Jean, you're not very loud back there, but I know you're excited. Kansas. There you go. Minnesota. Montana. And I want to stop for a second and say it was Montana that had the highest percentage net gain. They had 36% net gain. Pretty incredible. Including a Grange that went from about 8 members on the books to 76, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. New Jersey. Oregon. Wow, Loretta, you are kidding. Washington. Not as good. Not as good. Wisconsin. Alaska and Nevada do not have state Granges. Nevada, sorry. Don't have state Granges, but they also had net gains. And when we included the junior numbers and what we call the total membership gain, Pennsylvania also added and became an honor Grange state. So, as I mentioned, California, I was also going to do one thing. California has been pumping us with new Granges or reorganized Granges. And tonight we get to give them a charter for 2 new ones. And they made more work for Loretta, who has done 31 charters reorganized or organized this year. 31. That's crazy. But they gave us some paperwork for 2 more this week. So California's on a roll. And this is for East County Grange and for Jamul Grange. So if I could get Betsy and the state president for California too. California had 20 new or reorganized Granges last year. So they are working hard and doing something. There's something in the water. If you haven't seen a brand new, spanking new charter, you don't know the smell of a new charter, I can tell you that almost every state has a lead or they've brought or that's come through the office in the past year. And so there is no shortage of people looking for Grange. And then when they're here, sometimes adding that extra level, finding a meaning in working together and creating a Pomona is important. And so I want to recognize Kansas and have them come forward to receive the brand new, beautiful smelling Flint Hills Pomona Grange Charter. Amanda. No, okay, all right. Keep hearing my name. Anyway, so I really encourage you guys to think about if you are interested in working with your state leadership to become, Grange ambassadors of a sort, assistants, deputies, whatever they're called in your state. There are people looking to come into our organization, and you can help them. All right, so I'm going to just mention again, 425 Granges that had net gains. You can read all of them. Some of these are really awesome. A lot of the big numbers were here on the West Coast or in brand new Granges or reorganized Granges. And this could be you next year. I'm literally wasting time to get through that whole list, guys. Okay, so we look forward to having you on that list next year. My other award that I have, we did it for the first time last year. It's something that we're going to continue, is the Cultivator Award. People from throughout the country are coming up with great ideas. I know already one of my people who will be a cultivator next year. And what they're bringing is important resources that can be used by every Grange in the country. And I think it's important that they get the recognition when it's something that comes out through my department, but it's not mine. And I think that that's the theme this week. This isn't mine, this isn't ours, this is yours. So there are 2 people who aren't here there are 3 out of my 4 cultivators who aren't here tonight. But if I could get their state president to come up. The first is from Connecticut, and it is Todd Gelino. Todd was chosen because he decided to take on the arduous and probably a little scary task of looking at who was being reported as Golden Chief exempt members, which means they got their Golden Chief in 2000 or before, and making sure that they actually did. What does that mean? It means that they actually are told that they have to pay when they hadn't been paying for a long time for membership, but it also makes us understand who's still here and who haven't we been contacting enough. And so he cleaned up their records, which is extraordinarily important for understanding future casting for your state Grange. So he gets that award because he's also gotten death threats. Almost. The next one, you notice that Phil and I kind of dressed the same tonight. We almost got in a fight over this one. I wasn't sure if he was going to be mine or he was going to be Phil's awardee, and I won. So Walter Boomsma from Maine. Walter runs their website. He is a contact for the press. He has become a conduit for leads in Maine and all kinds of information. And while that sounds all very communications related, some of the podcasts or videos he's put together and things he's done have really improved the image and raised the profile of Grange in Maine. And that has led to some very successful reorganizations or things that are in progress now. So Walter Boomsma. My last one who's not here is Scott Nicholson. And if Marilyn could find her way this way, she's somewhere. Scott Nicholson took a Grange that had 8 members. He had a lead on people who were interested in joining this Grange. They were young and excited and had absolutely no idea what they were joining. And Scott traveled almost every month for almost a full year. He was one of the people who was piloting the heirloom program before we introduced it last year in some ways. And he's taken the heirloom program, but added things to that to explain our implements and our degree work and all kinds of things about the culture of Grange. And that Grange now has 76 members. So that's pretty awesome. And they keep inviting him back. They want to learn more. And I think that that's probably the most amazing part because he is telling people about Grange in such a positive way that it is growing and he's really taking people and making them into Grangers. So my last person who's here thought that she was getting to sit up front because her dad was getting an award, but actually Jenny Gentry is my final recipient of the Cultivators Award. Yeah, your dad knew, so you can blame him. Jenny, you know as the youth guru from North Carolina and who's always around with her kids here, and I shouldn't call them kids, but her young adults, young people here. But what you don't know is she's also a motivator and someone who just goes above and beyond to make sure that the Grange name and message is out there, and oftentimes it's through the youth. And I think it's really important that when we talk about we are an organization that does youth development and youth leadership, that is some of the youth talking about what they get out of these programs. I think it's the most effective part. And she goes out of her way to make sure that her youth are involved, they're engaged, they have a positive message about Grange, and it shows. Farm Aid, she was already kind of in the running, but Farm Aid was the deal clincher. If you haven't heard about that experience, go talk to Cade, go talk to Cole, go talk to her youth. You don't even need to talk to Jenny. And I think that's one of my favorite parts is that she puts her kids out front and they show what Grange is for them. That's the end of my awards, but I'm hoping that you all give literally the Grange and yourself and every person in this room who's spoken positively about the Grange over the past year a huge round of applause, because this is yours. So.
Oh, heck, one more. If you're gonna pay for my rotator cuff surgery, I'll throw it as hard as I can.
Just watch the camera, please.
What? No. So I'm excited this year. We get to announce a new award. That's going to be, well, Sean O'Neill, your legislative assistant, is going to announce it and discuss it. So for the first time on stage, Sean O'Neill.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. We saw all the other departments every year having a lot of fun, giving out loads of awards in communications, community service, whatever. And we thought, well, you know, the Grange is as much an advocacy organization as it is all those things. So we ought to give out something at the end of the year and have a little bit more fun. We thought, you know, we've got a lot of Granges out there already doing a lot of good work that we'd like to recognize. And then maybe also by giving out an award, we'd be able to incentivize some of them to get a little bit more into the advocacy side of Grange if they're, you know, not as into it today. So with that in mind, we're announcing an award that'll start giving out next year, and it should be in all of your program books with the details, similar to a lot of what Loretta does with her Grange in Action and things like that, where you'll just send us maybe one page, something like that, write-up of an advocacy event that a Grange or maybe even an individual has, something like holding a town hall, hosting an elected official, having a meeting where you write letters or phone calls to elected officials, anything that falls within the realm of advocacy. And also some pictures to Loretta, because she's not busy enough already and she collects all our award stuff, so you'll pass that along to her. And then at the end of the year, we'll select one and recognize them with a nice award. We'll think maybe be able to get Grange Advocacy to kick in a little something for something nice. Well, not confirmed yet, but we're gonna ask them. And that's sort of the big award. The last thing I'll say before I finish is we wanted to call it the Burton Eller Award to celebrate all that Burton's done for this wonderful organization. However, he was far too modest to let us do that. So maybe in a few decades when he finally retires, you'll be able to call it the Burton Eller Award for grassroots advocacy. But thank you all, and hopefully we get a lot of submissions for next year.
Flattery will get you everywhere. Now, I would be remiss if we didn't introduce Mr. Burton Eller, who's here somewheres. I heard he came in right back here. Mr. Burton Eller. And I'd be really remiss if I didn't introduce Stephanie Wilkins. Stephanie does so much for this organization with IT. If Stephanie would stand up, I know she's... There she is. Now, because we know how much Stephanie likes the limelight on her, but she does more, you know, IT, you got a problem, call her, and she laughs and goes, okay, I'll fix it, and hits a couple buttons and hears some clicks in the background, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's all about the trying, but no, she does a great job. 22 years working at the National Grange. That's going through a lot of national presidents, and she's still there. So thank you, Stephanie, for all you do. I'm not sure what that washer goes to. So we're going to deviate a little bit from the program because I can, because I'm the MC and I'm allowed. So if I could have the state president from Rhode Island, the First Lady from Rhode Island, and we're just going to call her the First Daughter from Rhode Island. Just come down front here for me, please. Now, I don't get choked up by a lot of things in life, but what I saw happen at Mossop Valley Junior Grange this year, folks, it just, I was no good. Now I'll admit it, I was no good. So, Brother Walter, the white bag, that's just plain white bag. We have for you, if you, on my behalf and Sister Betsy's behalf, present to every member of Mossop Valley Junior Grange a Grange Builder pin for all the work they did. Now, for those that don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but they recognized a young child, 3 years old, that was going through cancer treatments and going through issues like that. And they just weren't going to sit there and let this go unrecognized without help of some type. Now, Sister Nettie took it upon herself as master of that junior Grange, president of that junior Grange, that I'm going to write letters to organizations, people in the community. We need to do something. In the end, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nettie, $3,000? $5,000. They raised $5,000 for this child. I had to do something. So, Sister Betsy, yes. For you, Nettie, I have a National Grange Community Service Director's Award pin. Folks, if that's not an inspiration, I don't know what is. And when Grange says we're too small, we can't do anything, we don't have it, we're in the middle of nowheres, there's a junior Grange right there that stepped up, stepped out, and did. So, Nettie, I can't thank you enough for what you did. And Brother Walter and Sister Danielle, thank you for presenting Grange. I appreciate it. And give them our thanks from the National Grange. And then we got our community service book winners. You don't have to come up. They've already been awarded. I just want to announce them. And they will get a check from the National Grange. Will go to the state presidents of those states. Honorable mentions were Chepachet, number 38 in Rhode Island. Avon, number 125, Montana. Fourth place, Gardner Grange, number 68 in Kansas. Third place, Collinsville Grange, number 2264, Ohio. Sterling Grange, number 53, Massachusetts, was second. And first place, Flora Grange, number 1762 in Illinois. And again, not all those were big Granges, folks. They didn't have the largest membership, but they go out and they do. So I encourage Granges, do the community service books. It shows people what you're doing. Use them when you have open houses in your Granges to put them out, let people see what you're doing. At your fairs. They're history books of what your Grange does throughout the history of that Grange. I'm sure everybody's got closets full of community service books. Use them. So now we're going to move on to our of the year winners. So our firefighter EMT of the year, oh, hold on. You know, you think about this, you got everything right. What's the one thing I didn't do? Write down a list of the winners. Luckily, I remembered that I emailed them to Stephanie and Phil, so I pulled up the email after I found it. So our firefighter EMT of the year is Matt Nowicki, Owasso Fire Department, Michigan, nominated by Burns Grange. Our teacher of the year is Morgan Swan, Elm Street School, East Machias, I was close. Maine, nominated by the Maine State Grange. Our law enforcement officer of the year, Sheriff Bob Songer, Klickitat, County Sheriff's Department, Washington, nominated by Goldendale Grange. So if someone from Goldendale Grange is here, please present that. Congratulations to all the Granges that receive these plaques. Hope you'll invite the public, invite the press. To the state of Michigan, I should have mentioned, with the nomination with that, I would also invite the dispatcher working that night because that firefighter crawled into a burning building to save someone, and the dispatcher was able to get him in there and out safely. So please, please, please invite that dispatcher. And if Sister Lillian's in the room, she understands that. Last award I have tonight is a very special award. It's the Whitman June Justy Youth Community Service Award. Now, for those that knew Justies, they were amazing people. Now, Miss Justy just passed away about 3 weeks ago. She was an amazing person. Brother Whit was an amazing man. Up to when he passed, he still wrote you handwritten notes. If you did something he approved of, he would write you a note. So this year, the Whitman June Justy Youth Community Service Award goes to Ashton Medlin, State of North Carolina. Job well done, young lady. Everything I read, you are an inspiration and a wonderful young lady doing amazing things in your community. So just keep up the good work, and thank you for what you do. So now, it's my pleasure to turn the microphone and the stage over to your National Grange Youth Director, Mandy Boswick.
All right, so I'll be wrapping up the evening with all of the youth awards. So each year, regional conferences hold their prepared speech and sign-a-song contests. Tonight, you're going to listen to the best of show winners that were able to be with us tonight. And I encourage you to come to the Evening of Excellence tomorrow night to watch our talented sign-a-song regional best of show winners. Up first, we have the Eastern Regional Best of Show winner, Ashton Medlin of North Carolina.
Hi, my name is Ashton Medlin, and I will be reading my speech called Right is Wrong. Go to college, get an education, find a job, make money, live happily. This is the sequence of events imprinted in our minds starting as soon as we begin school. Go to college, get an education, and all will work out. Find a job, make money, and you will find happiness. This system has been said so many times. How could it not be true? If you follow the system, everything will turn out right. Sometimes, however, right is wrong. Growing up, I was very competitive. Whether it had something to do with being the youngest of 3 siblings, I'm not exactly sure. But from the very beginning, I was always striving to be the best at everything that I did. It quickly became known to me that the best way for me to receive this validation was through my success in academics. If I wasn't on top, then I just wasn't trying hard enough. As I got older and the concept of college began to inch its way into my future, best college means the best education, which leads to the best jobs and the most money. And we all know money equals happiness, since that's what the system led us to believe, right? I graduated as valedictorian from my high school of a whopping 264 students. I received admission into one of the top universities in the state. I was already beginning my path towards fulfillment, and I was positive that I would check off those boxes in no time, finally achieving the happiness promised to me. It didn't matter that I would be in debt by the time I finished only my first year of college. It didn't matter that the courses I took in high school did nothing to prepare me for what college would bring. It didn't matter that I grew up sheltered from the realities of life, not knowing what would come. Because after all I had to do was go to college, get a degree, find a job, make money, and my life would be complete. This was the right way to do things, the only way to live a successful life, right? Being in college has introduced me to a whole new side of life I had previously never known. Mental health is real, not just something you see on TV shows. Being smart no longer guarantees you praise and validation because, hey, everyone in college is smart. I quickly realized I was no longer the smartest person in the school. And if I was no longer on top, then what did that mean about my worth? If I couldn't achieve the academic validation I had strived for my entire life, how else would I receive my fulfillment? If I'm not the smart girl, then who am I? This path was supposed to lead me towards happiness, and yet I felt more lost then than I had ever felt in my life. Last October, one of my peers committed suicide from the very dorm I live in, from the very floor I called home. A freshman, just like me, from a small town, just like me, walking the path towards happiness, just like me. This isn't how it's supposed to happen. The path is clear and simple. Go to college, get a degree, find a job, make money, and you'll find happiness. This is the best way, the right way, the only way. But if that's true, then why does it feel like the wrong one? Why does it feel as though my life is planned out before me without giving me a say in how it turns out? Why are grades on a transcript suddenly more important than someone's life? Because what I felt that day was most certainly not happiness. The system I had grown up hearing is wrong. Going to college, getting an education, finding a job, and making money does not guarantee happiness. It never should have taken me this long to figure out that there is no right path in life. There's only your path, the path you choose to take, and the one that will bring you to happiness. I love my school, and I am still determined to succeed in my academics. But the difference now is that I know my worth does not depend on my grades. You can only find fulfillment in doing what fulfills you. Whether that's going to college, finding a job, or just taking some time to figure yourself out. Your path is the path you need. The best path is not always the right one. More often than not, right is wrong. Thank you.
I was told next year I have to have handwritten notes instead of on my computer, so I apologize that I have my computer. Just kidding. So next up we have Lexi Suing from Oregon, representing the Western region with their Best of Show speech.
Hey. Hi. Oh, I'm a little taller, sorry. All right. Everybody see what this is? $20 bill. Raise your hand if you want it. Cool. Okay. Who still wants it? All right. Who still wants it? Interesting. All right, raise your hand if you wanted it. Throw it. See, that's better than a t-shirt, isn't it? It is interesting though. No matter how crumpled, how dirty that bill got, you still wanted it. Why? Because it had value. We as human beings have always measured, praised, or even been dishonest only to gain things of physical value. This could be anything. A Led Zeppelin guitar, a nice new car, a job, food. The value of a job has gone up tremendously. The value of food has gone up immensely. And we're not going to even get started on gas prices. The value of being alive has become a struggle. But has the value of life gone up? Has the value of living gone up? No. Only the value of surviving. So much so that just surviving carries more value than our own self-worth. We have been surviving, not living. We care so much about the value of things we have that we forget the value of ourselves. It's so easy to say, oh, I'll just work one more hour and then I can relax. Oh, I'm home and the dishes need to be done. Let me get that done and then I can relax. And then you start relaxing. And then you start asking yourself, why am I relaxing? Why am I only thinking of myself when I could be doing other things? Oh my gosh, I'm lazy. And that's the point. Remember that taking care of yourself also has value. It may not be physically apparent or bear instant gratification, but your well-being and your mental happiness are just as important, if not, should be more valued than what you have. Just remember to take time to value yourself as much as all of you did that 20. Try not to make a mess. Everybody can see what this is? Just a glass of water, right? It's not that heavy. I bet a lot of you could hold this up for about a minute. How many of you think you could hold it up for 5 minutes? 10 minutes? How about an hour? Eventually, your hand would start to wobble and your arm will cramp till you just have to put it down somewhere or simply drop it. Simply, did I say? Most would argue that they would have to find a table or have time to bend down and deal with it later. Emotions and memories can weigh on the body and the mind. Many of us feel that pressure building from our everyday life stress and pains, especially with what's going on in the world right now. Many of you have your cups of water very full like mine. But with more and more of our days of stress and fatigue, we don't have time to deal with our emotional states. We have to get to bed so that we can do it all over again tomorrow. When are we going to have time to deal with our cups of water? Are we just going to leave it for someone else to take care of? Are we going to ignore that it's even there? Eventually, I am going to be getting off this stage, and I will have to take this cup with me. But my cup doesn't have to be full of water when I leave. I can't simply just let go. Or, like I am, take more time to observe your cups, your emotions, yourself. Whatever it is in life, acknowledge it as it is a part of you. And decide if it is something make it easier to bear. Until you can just simply let go. That's something to think about. Thank you.
Membership is a valuable part of Grange experience, and it is a responsibility of all members to grow the Grange. Youth are a part of membership growth process, and to encourage youth and young adults to grow the Grange, the youth department, in conjunction with the membership department, will be recognizing youth and young adults for their recruitment efforts through the State Recruiter of the Year Award.
This is an award that my predecessor, Joe Stefanoni, put together with Mandy, and we've kept this in place, but we haven't gotten too many entries. That said, the entries we've gotten have been amazing. I really look forward to a lot more folks who are putting forward youth who are bringing people to the Grange and giving them a wonderful experience. That said, this year, we have one person who stood out and absolutely excelled in spreading the Grange message and bringing folks in who will hopefully be members for years to come. So, without further ado, Mandy.
Our State Recruiter of the Year is Baylor Howerton.
And that probably goes back to that cultivator thing that we were talking about with Jenny earlier. So I know many of our youth directors around the country are really setting their your youth and juniors up for success in this category, and I hope that you consider putting their name in for next year. Thank you.
Our next awards are the Distinguished Youth Programs. The Distinguished Youth Program is similar to the National Grange Distinguished Grange Awards Program, and it was established to encourage our state youth directors to get their youth and young adults to participate in all the programs available to our members as they appear in the Youth Handbook. Being named a Distinguished Youth Program shows your commitment to the youth of our order and their leadership training, skill enhancement, participation in Grange activities, and much more. Only through a strong Grange youth program can we ensure the vibrant future of our organization. This year we had 2 applicants, one for the State Distinguished Youth Program and one for the subordinate recognition. Our State Distinguished Youth Program goes to North Carolina, and our subordinate Distinguished Youth Program is awarded to Sanford Grange number 808 from New York. The next recognition that I would like to do would be the Grange Ritual Contest, which is a code reading contest. This year, the contest became a regional contest, honestly, because the Assembly just does not have time to do the judging at national. And so this year, I wanted to have a moment to recognize our winner from the Eastern Regional, Baylor Howerton. Our next awards are the Grange baseball winners. So I'm going to ask my junior counterpart to come out here and help me with these. We had our baseball competition yesterday. For those of you who don't know what Grange baseball it is, it replaced Jeopardy a few years ago. And so it is our trivia contest. And so I'll let Samantha go ahead and announce the junior winners. Yeah, they're first and second. All right, in second place in the junior baseball category, we have Miss Reagan Hartzell from North Carolina. And in first place, we have Mr. Landon Knight from Oklahoma. For the youth, in third place, Bryce Danko from Pennsylvania. In second place, Jessie Jo Guttridge from Oregon. And in first place, Gail Switzer. The next award that I'm going to announce is the Youth Spirit Award. Last year, I brought this award into our national convention. It was spun off of the Jody Thomas Bailey Award. Several of you probably know what it is. Several of you may not. But We turn it into the Youth Spirit Award, and the winners are nominated by all the other youth, and they should be a Youth Grange member attending National Grange Convention and an individual who best exemplifies the following traits: eagerness to participate in all things, including workshops, games, mixers, the dance, this year was a pool party, and cleanup, demonstrates a strong support of National Grange Youth Program, and demonstrates a genuine care for fellow Grangers and supports others in their endeavor to achieve personal satisfaction. This year, by one vote, it was almost a tie, is Samantha Hansen from Iowa. Samantha will be getting an actual spirit stick, and she will be added to our spirit megaphone, which was on display in the showcase this week. I wanted to take another opportunity to recognize the youth officer team, so if they are in here, please stand up. This group of youth came in on Wednesday. A lot of them had been up since 2 a.m. their time, and they had a very, very long day. And by Friday morning, they had the 2 drills learned and the opening of the Grange, and they just put in so much work and long hours. And I just wanted to give them another round of applause because they did a fantastic job. All right, next I have a quick farewell from my 2022 National Leadership Team. Maybe. It's coming.
Sorry, it's hard to hear. Well, hey y'all, how are y'all doing? That was weak, but you know, I just heard someone mock me, but that's okay too. We're going to keep this real short. We'd just like to say thank you to everyone in this room. It's been a wonderful year. It really means a lot, all the support and time each and every one of y'all have given to the youth, both nationally and from your own state and local Granges. And we really can't wait to see next year's team, or this year's team, I guess.
Again, thank you guys for everything. Good luck to the new team. Hopefully you can beat our shenanigans, but I highly doubt it.
I thought only one of us was talking, so once again, yeah, like they both said, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great experience. To the new team, good luck. Listen to Mandy. Have a good time. It'll be good.
All right, as the ambassadors hear their name, if you'd come out on stage while I read your bio. So our first one is Baylor Howerton from North Carolina. Baylor is from the small town of Timberlake, North Carolina, and was born into a Grange family and has been part of the Grange since the age of 5. She has an older sister, Autumn, and a younger brother, Cade, and they are close to their parents, Charles and Allison. Family is important to her. She is a student at East Carolina University studying biology with plans to become a physical therapist. She loves playing sports, especially soccer, which she has played pretty much her entire life. She loves learning sign language and considers it a big passion of hers. She also enjoys playing tennis, reading, hiking, drawing, and watching movies. Our next ambassador candidate is Matthew Settle. Matthew was born and raised in Elkin, North Carolina in rural Wilkes County. His parents are Virgil and Mitzi Settle. He has 2 brothers, Cole and Carter, and comes from 4 generations of Grangers. He is currently the North Carolina Youth Lecturer and member of the state leadership team. He attends University of North Carolina at Charlotte, where he is working on a bachelor's degree in computer science. He hopes he can work in the field of robotics and artificial intelligence. In his free time, he likes to go hiking, biking, and camping. He also enjoys going to concerts and traveling. Our first young patron candidate is Gail Switzer from Pennsylvania. Gail hails from the state of Pennsylvania, where she is a lifetime member of Marion Grange number 1853. in Berks County and an affiliate member of Grange 121 in Chester County. Gail resides in West Chester, Pennsylvania with her daughter Lena and 2 dogs. Gail works at an approved private school, Melmark, and is an assistant director of educational services. Gail is currently working on an educational doctorate in special education leadership and is working towards a certification as a supervisor of special education. Gail is a board-certified behavior analyst and an instructional 2 certified teacher in elementary education pre-K4 and special education pre-K8. Gail enjoys attending Phillies games, going on walks with her dogs, and being a lifelong learner and teacher. Her future ambitions include teaching collegiately and potentially getting a degree in special education law. Our final young patron candidate is Autumn Whitaker from North Carolina. Autumn Whitaker of Boonville, North Carolina is a member of Little Mountain Grange. She is the first young patron from North Carolina, a position in which she has been honored to serve. The experience has led her to travel to many places this year and talk to people about the Grange and serve as a mentor to the North Carolina State Grange youth team, which she has loved doing. She currently attends UNC Wilmington, where she is working on a degree in forensic science. She has 2 older brothers and a younger sister and is very devoted to her family and friends. When not working or going to school, she enjoys reading, playing, and coaching volleyball, hanging out with friends, especially her Grange ones. The judges deliberated long and hard on this decision for the 2023 National Grange Youth Leadership Team. They decided that they would look at the top 2 youth that stood out in the following areas: their interviews, their workshop, their social media example that they shared via their application, how well they participated and engaged in the various youth activities throughout the week, and how they interacted with other Grangers, and their ambassador books, which have been on display in the showcase this week. The 2 youth that excelled in all 6 areas are Gail Switzer of Pennsylvania and Autumn Whitaker of North Carolina. You guys would step forward. And then after your sash, if you want to say a quick few words, you may.
All right, well, good evening. It's super exciting to start tonight as one of the youth team for the upcoming year. I had the opportunity to be a youth mentor back in 2008 and 2009, really aging myself here. But I'm looking forward to the extensive opportunities that the youth team now has compared to them, and really working on bridging the gap as I'm 31 years old, so being one of the older young adults and really bridging that gap between the 14-year-old youth and then our 35 young adults and older to really have a cohesive youth and young adult department. So very excited for that, and thanks so much.
I just want to say thank you for giving me this position. I'm really honored for it. And thank you to North Carolina for your constant support. It means so much to me. And I'm super excited to see what this year holds.
If we could give another round of applause for all of our ambassador candidates. That is the end of mine. Just a quick announcement. Youth Vespers, in lieu of that tonight, we're just going to make sure all the pictures and stuff get taken afterwards. So there will not be an official Youth Vespers tonight. Thank you for your time.
I just sat here because I didn't know where Pete was, so I was like, anybody know where Pete went? They're all like, no. Do a dance. That's a bad idea. Okay, bye.
Pete Hopper.
Okay, one announcement. National staff, Betsy does want a picture, an official picture. So don't forget, we're first. We're first. But as the saying goes, folks, and it's so appropriate in this location, you don't have to go home, just can't stay here. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for participation. Thank you to Jim, the AV guy. Deeply appreciate it, sir. And have a great night.